Just when you thought I was done for the night, I'm not. So we got 3 games that start at 1 o'clock Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific. So watch for a review of these 3 games first, and then the other 8 games will be done later, which means that it's a little bit easier for me, although I still have to do the Sunday preview on Saturday night, and that's after the power rankings, which have gone through some changes this week. So can't wait for the reaction to the power rankings, where we're going to see some changes this week. It's the last power rankings before the trade deadline, so yeah. First up, we're going to start with Washington in against New Jersey, and this looks like a mismatch until you really look at the numbers and how they're playing right now. Washington's 37-17-6. In their last 10, they're 3-6-1. They're coming off of an overtime loss at home against the Montreal Canadiens. They're 21-8-1 on the road, so they're excellent on the road. They're in against the New Jersey Devils, who are 23-27-10. So their overall record is terrible. But their last 10, they're 5-3-2. So they've won half their games. And at home, they're now 11-10-10. They've won back-to-back games at home. In fact, I believe they were 8-9-10. So now they're 11-10-10. So that might be 3 out of 4 they've won at home. It's too bad, because I like the 8, 9, and 10. I want to see 9, 10, and 11 and see it just keep going that way all year. But you can't have nice things. Now, when it comes to this series, Washington won in New Jersey on December 20th, 6-3. January 11th, New Jersey won in Washington, 5-1. And Washington won at home 5-2 against the New Jersey Devils. So New Jersey's trying to even up the season series. Goaltenders, Samsonov will start for the Washington Capitals. He's 16-4-1 with a .917 save percentage. That makes Holtby the backup. He's 21-13-5 with an .896 save percentage and not getting traded. On the New Jersey side, I expect Blackwood. He's 20-12-7 with a .915 save percentage. Schneider's backing him up. He's 0-6-1 with an .852 save percentage, so not thinking we'll see Schneider. Scoring, I just went with a notable defenseman and likely the top scorer among the forwards, just to keep it simple. Ovechkin, of course, going for goal number 700. He has 41 goals, 17 assists, 58 points. Karlsson, the overall scoring leader among defensemen, one of the top scorers in the league, 15 goals, 55 assists, 70 points. So he needs 30 for 100. I don't think he gets there, but he should reach 90. Goals for, they're scoring 3.47 per game. They're allowing 3.03. They want that goals against below 3. In order to get there, I think you play Samsonov more, but that's just me. We'll see how things go. I'm not going to put the recent struggles on Holtby because I don't think it's been his fault. On the New Jersey front, Subban is starting to get some goals, just not enough points. 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Hischier, 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points. Believe he's a -12, but New Jersey fans will say, hey, don't look at plus-minus. He gets all the tough assignments. All right. Goals for, 2.67 for New Jersey. Goals against, 3.37. If you're allowing 0.7 goals more per game than you're allowing, you're not making the playoffs. So this is not something new for the New Jersey Devils. This is something we knew was going to happen dating back quite a while. All right, next up. Winnipeg in against Philly. This is a tricky game. The Winnipeg Jets, who find themselves in a playoff spot, can really solidify that. Now they got to play in Philadelphia, and that is not an easy place to play right now. Winnipeg's 32-25-5. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They're 16-11-2 on the road. Whereas Philadelphia, 34-20-7. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 25-4 at home. Yeah, they've won 20 out of 29 at home. Pretty good record. Winnipeg won this meeting in Winnipeg, 7-3 on December 15th. So Philadelphia looking for some payback. Goaltenders, Hellebuck will be the starter. He's 26-18-5 with a .919 save percentage. Brossoit was good in their last game. He's 6-7 with an .893 save percentage, so his numbers get a little bit better. On the Philadelphia front, I expect Hart. Elliott played their last game. Hart's 18-12-3 with a .908 save percentage. Elliott's 15-7-4 with an .899 save percentage. Again, notables, Pionk on the blue line for Winnipeg, 6 goals, 35 assists, 41 points. Continues to be quite the story for them. Scheifele, 26 goals, 39 assists, 65 points. Goals for, they're scoring 3.02 per game and allowing 2.97. That's pretty close, but they're in a playoff spot, like I said, and as long as they can outscore their problems, and if they get the defense that they need, they're in pretty good shape. On the Philadelphia side, Niskanen, 7 goals, 23 assists, 30 points. If he breaks the stick over a guy's wrist, it's worth $5,000. Couturier, 18 goals, 36 assists, 54 points. And I say again, when Philadelphia's playing well, he's usually their best player. Goals for per game, 3.23 for the Flyers. Goals against, 2.88. We'll see how it goes for them in this one. And again, Winnipeg has been better on the road than at home. They're coming off that massive homestand, which was pretty successful. And now they're going into Philadelphia, which is really not an easy place to play right now. Really sort of not. So we'll see how things go for them. I am hopeful for Winnipeg. It would be nice to see more Canadian teams in the playoffs. Next up, Buffalo in against Pittsburgh. The Buffalo Sabres clinging to hope. And they've been playing well enough over the last, we'll say, week and a half. They're 27, 25, and 8 now. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10, so they're above 500 in their last 10. On the road, they're 9, 15, and 4. That needs to be evened up before they can think about it. Now, on the Pittsburgh side, 37, 16, and 6. They're coming off of a loss to Toronto. They should be in a pretty ornery mood. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. At home, they're 22, 5, and 4. So, pretty similar record to Philadelphia. If you go through Pennsylvania, you're probably going to lose to both teams. Buffalo won this meeting October 3rd. I remember well that was a game where Pittsburgh didn't look very good. And Buffalo did, and it was kind of a stunner right out of the gate. That's the only time these teams have met. March 5th, they will meet again in Buffalo. So this is the second meeting in Pittsburgh. The one meeting in Buffalo will be in a couple of weeks' time. Carter Hutton, I would expect, starts. Now, Carter Hutton revealed that he's been dealing with a nagging injury, and I don't think it's negatively impacted his numbers overall. He's 11, 10, and 4 with an .894 save percentage. No timeline for Olmark. We know he's on a pair of skates. He's been in practice, and they're still not saying when he's coming back. Johansson should be the backup. He's 0-1-1 with an .889 save percentage. On the Pittsburgh side, I would expect Jarry here, although Murray played the last game, so I'd expect Jarry. Murray's 17, 8, and 5 now with a .903 save percentage. Jarry's 28 and 1 with a .931 save percentage. Pittsburgh's got a couple of pretty good goaltenders right now. I'm not sure who starts in the playoffs, but the fact they're in the playoffs is good. On the Buffalo side, Dahlin, 4 goals, 32 assists, 36 points. He's been fantastic. And Eichel is always fantastic. 33 goals, 42 assists, 75 points for him. He could very well hit 100 points, and he will get some votes for some awards. Watch for him in the Ted Lindsay hunt. Goals for, 2.90 per game, which isn't bad, but the goals against, 3.13, is too many. On the Pittsburgh side, Letang, 14 goals, 26 assists, 40 points. Nobody's really talking about the good season he's having. Crosby in 31 games, 12 goals, 28 assists, 40 points. Ho-hum, if he'd played the whole season, he'd have roughly 90 points. Not a big deal. Goals for, 3.27 per game. Goals against, 2.68 per game. And yes, that was sarcasm about Crosby. In his 30s, he's proving he's not getting any older. Now, if he could stay healthy for the full season this year again, he would be up among league leaders in points. And we would be talking about him in Hart considerations. But at this stage, we're not. All right, next up, Carolina. And this one starts at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. Carolina will be in against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So this starts 6 hours after those games. Carolina, 34, 22, and 4 after tonight's action. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. On the road, they're 15, 12, and 2. And they're going to be looking to bounce back from that loss they took to the Rangers that threw them out of the playoffs at this stage. Toronto, also trying to avoid being knocked out of the playoffs by Florida. Toronto can help themselves out with a win. They're 32, 22, and 8 right now. 4-5-1 in their last 10, 16, 8, and 7 at home. And I do like their chances playing against Carolina, who are in the second half of back-to-backs. And Toronto looked pretty darn good against Pittsburgh. Maybe that fire is back for them. December 23rd, of course, these teams met in Toronto. That was an 8-6 win for Toronto. It was a video all in and of itself. That was an afternoon game, and I was glad it was its own video because holy crap, so many goals. They will meet again March 26th in Carolina. I do not expect 14 goals tomorrow, but we're going to hear some Hull notes. I do expect some scoring, and I do expect James Reimer. Mrazek played tonight. He's 20-16-2 with a .904 save percentage. Reimer's 14-6-2 with a .914 save percentage. On the Toronto side, Anderson should be the starter. He's 25-12-6 with a .908 save percentage. Campbell's 11-10-3 with a .904 save percentage. And Sheldon Keefe, I believe has already stated he's going with Anderson tomorrow. It didn't list it as confirmed on the sites I was checking, but pretty sure Keefe's already said, yeah, no, I'm staying with Anderson. There is no controversy. Slavin on the blue line for Carolina, 5 goals, 27 assists. Sebastian Aho, 35 goals now and 28, 23 assists, 58 points. So Montreal fans, just think, in a few years, he'll be a Hab. Goals for, 3.17 per game. Goals against, 2.82. On the Toronto side, Jake Muzzin, 5 goals, 16 assists, 21 points after that really gutsy effort against Pittsburgh the other night. Matthews, 43 goals, 30 assists, 73 points. He's on pace for about 100 points too. And it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of talk about that. There's more talk about the fact that he is tied right now with Pastrnak for the Rocket Richard, and Pastrnak was held off the goal side of things by the Edmonton Oilers tonight, or by the Flames tonight. So we'll see whether or not Matthews can get that all to himself tomorrow, or if Ovechkin scores a hat trick and he takes over. 3.48 goals per game by Toronto. We know they can score. The problem is they allow 3.23 goals per game. That is an issue. We'll see whether or not it continues to be an issue tomorrow night. That being said, I do need to change boards. Okay, Habs. I thought about wearing a Habs jersey, but Montreal fans get all kind of jumpy because, like, oh, when he wears our jersey, we lose. And it's not a thing, but all right. Montreal, this one starts in Ottawa at the same time as the Toronto game. There will be 3 games starting at 4 o'clock, 2 at 5 o'clock. So not too bad, not too crazy for a Saturday. It's a relatively light Saturday. We're 6 Saturdays out from the end of the season, which is weird, right? 28, 27, and 8 is the record for Montreal, who are barely holding on to any glimmer of hope. 4, 5, and 1 in their last 10. They're 15, 12, and 3 on the road. Ottawa, they're 21, 29, and 11 overall. Their last 10, they're 3, 5, and 2, and at home they're 15, 12, and 6. So for Ottawa, they're playing out the string, but they're playing relatively well, and they're playing the spoiler role relatively well. We'll see how many players suit up tomorrow and how many they have out of the lineup getting ready for trades. Nemesnikov not traded as of the time I'm recording this, but is likely going to be on his way out of town before Monday. November 20th, these teams went to overtime. Ottawa won 2-1 in Montreal. And then December 11th, these teams went to overtime. Montreal won 3-2. And January 11th, these teams went to overtime. Montreal won 2-1. So, overtime? Sure. Starting goaltenders, I would think you're going to go with Price. He's 25, 22, and 5, 9-10 save percentage. They're going to ride him as much as possible because it's the only way you're going to get into hoping for a playoff spot. Lindgren's 1-3 with an 880 save percentage. On the Ottawa side of things, I would expect Högberg. Since I'm expecting overtime, he's 3-7-7 with a 908 save percentage. He's well versed in overtime. And Anderson's 9-13-2 with a 900 save percentage. So I'm just saying Högberg because overtime. Weber, 14 goals, 21 assists, 35 points. His career's over. Wait, no, he's on the ice. He's back in the game. Tatar, 21 goals, 34 assists, 55 points. He's had a pretty solid run. I don't see him getting moved. There's rumors out there. I just don't see it. 2.97 goals per game, 3.08 against. They do want to score more goals. That's been a storyline with Montreal this year. On the Ottawa side of things, Shabbat, 5 goals, 28 assists, 33 points. He plays about 65 minutes a game if it goes to overtime. Tkachuk, 18 goals, 20 assists, 38 points. The scoring has really started for Brady Tkachuk. It started slow for him, but man, he is special. And I don't know between Matt and Brady which one's going to be better, but both of them are pretty solid offensively. I still think Brady's going to probably be the better one. Goals for per game, 2.69 for Ottawa, who we knew would struggle to score, and they're allowing 3.34 per game, which is not overly a surprise. But we'll see how things turn out and if Ottawa can play the spoiler. Next up, San Jose in against the Rangers. So the Rangers, who are playing very, very well. So as San Jose plays out the string and we wonder who they might get rid of and who might stick around into next year, the Rangers are trying to get themselves into a playoff spot. And so we'll see what they do tomorrow when it comes to their goaltending. 26-30-4 is the record for the San Jose Sharks. In their last 10, they're 5-5, and on the road, they're 12-15-3. So not great on the road, but it's been a pretty not great season for them overall. The Rangers are now 32-24-4, so that they can't get to 6 games above 500. Now they're 8 above 500. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're breaking through, and a lot of it has to do with this new young goaltender of theirs. They're 16, 13, and 2 at home. They do wish that was a better home record, but they're doing their best to improve it. These teams met December 12th in San Jose. It was a 6-3 win for the Rangers. I believe that was when San Jose really dove out of the playoffs for good. They had a great November run, and then December it just fell apart again. Jones, I'm kind of thinking he's the starter tomorrow night. He's 14 and 18 and 2 with an 894 save percentage. Dell 12, 12 and 2, 909 save percentage. They may move him. On the Rangers front, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Shesterkin again. He's now 8 and 1 with a 938 save percentage. Yeah, wow. Georgiev 14, 12 and 1 with a 912 save percentage. So either goaltender's pretty good. And again, Lundqvist, probably the odd guy out. On the blue line, Burns, 12 goals, 29 assists, 41 points. And for San Jose, I went with something different. True. Alex True, 7 games played and 4 assists. You know what? If you haven't seen him play yet, which I would understand because people aren't paying a whole lot of attention to San Jose, I think this kid's pretty good. I think he's at least got a shot to stick around with this team into next year. So 4 points in 7 games. Put my neck out and say I think he's going to be a regular for the Sharks next season. Goals for per game, 2.57. That's too low. Goals against, 3.25. That's too high. On the Rangers side, Lindgren, 1 goal, 9 assists. Why is Lindgren up there? Because every game he gets cut, he gets beat up, he gets thrown around, and he seems to enjoy that kind of roughhousing play. But his face the last game that I watched was really kind of beat up. Chris Kreider, is this his last game as a Ranger? I don't think so. 24 goals, 21 assists, 45 points. Goals for per game, 3.32. Goals against, 3.07. And the Rangers are making it really tough for a general manager to sell because they're winning a lot of games. Next up, Columbus in against Nashville. And this one starts at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Nashville coming off of a tough overtime loss, but they did get a point. And they're in against a Columbus team that has lost a lot of games. They're close games. They're not getting blown out, but Columbus just doesn't quite have it. And now they don't have Bjorkstrand either. So it's just one hit after another for Columbus. They're 30, 19, and 13, so they now lead the league in overtime loss points. Last 10, they're 3, 3, and 4. On the road, they're 12, 8, and 9. So those overtime loss points are costing them a playoff spot right now. Well, not really. They're ahead of Carolina, but the way they're trending, Carolina likely gets that spot and they fall out. On the Nashville side, they're 29, 28, 3, and 8 overall. Over their last 10, they're 5, 4, and 1. And at home, they're 13, 12, and 4. Nashville needs to be better at home. They need to assert themselves, and Columbus coming in should help. March 14th, these teams will meet again in Columbus. I expect Merzlikins for Columbus because he's getting worked a lot. He's 12, 9, and 7 now with a 922 save percentage. Kivlenix would be the backup at 1-0 and 2 and a 907 save percentage. On the Nashville side, I expect Saros, but look at Rene's numbers. He's 18, 13, and 4 now with a 900 save percentage. That's the first time Rene's had a 900 save percentage in a while. Saros, 11, 10, and 4. He's at 903. So again, these goaltenders do seem to be tied to one another. It's a weird thing I've been noticing all season, and that continues. Werenski, 18 goals, 18 assists, 38 points. They might need to convert him to a forward and a defenseman on the same shift because he can score goals, and they're short on that right now. Jenner, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. And, of course, Nathan Gerbe, their new enforcer. Look out for him. And I want to say, too, while we're talking about Columbus, everybody made a big deal about Gerbe taking down Sanheim. And look at that. As a shorter person, I can tell you, sometimes you have an advantage over the taller guys. Sometimes it's easier with that lower center of gravity to knock a guy down. So I know people are talking about Sanheim a lot, but it can be hard for the taller guy to, because I went through that every now and then in junior and senior high where, yeah, okay, I'm shorter than you, but I can just duck my head and I can backdrop you, and then you're on your backside and I'm still standing. So there's that. Anyways, so when you see Gerbe knocking guys around and you're going, look at that. Just remember that does help sometimes having that lower center of gravity. And we've always been short. Short guys, like every now and then, I know this is a meander, but hey, these things happen when it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm still doing videos. Every now and then at work, at my old job, I would reach up and grab some people like, how did you reach that? And I would turn and go, I've been short my whole life, so it's nothing new to look at something and go, well, that's out of my reach. I have to find a way to reach it. You deal with it. So as a hockey player, Gerbe's been dealing with it his whole life. 2.57 goals per game for Columbus. That isn't enough. You guys know that. They're scoring less than Ottawa. They're allowing 2.52 goals per game, but when you're scoring less than Ottawa and the same rate as San Jose, it's really hard to keep that up. And yes, injuries play a big role, but they have had trouble scoring all year. I know they've been injured all year too. Ekholm, who had a goal tonight, 8 goals, 24 assists, 32 points for Nashville. Duchesne, 12 goals, 26 assists, 38 points. He needs to score more. Duchesne's getting paid a lot of money, and he's not scoring enough. So in order to avoid his contract being seen as a huge problem this summer, he better get it in gear. If Nashville misses the playoffs and he only scores around 50 points, there's going to be fingers pointed in his direction. They're scoring 3.15 goals per game. They're allowing 3.17, which is problematic. They're not scoring enough. All right. Next up, Tampa goes in against Arizona. Again, this one's at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Tampa Bay coming off of a loss, which was shocking and all that. Now they're 5 points behind Boston. It's got to be frustrating. You win 11 in a row, and then you look at the standings a few days after your first loss, and you go, wait, now we're further behind? What's going on? So they've won 9 out of 10, so they're 9-1 in their last 10. And on the road, they're 29-3. Pretty good record, and they're in against Arizona, who are struggling. Arizona's out of a playoff spot. They're out of time. Arizona has to win this game. Arizona may come out of tomorrow night's game with more games played than everybody else and a couple of points out of a playoff spot and looking at having to jump multiple teams to get in. It gets tricky fast. They're 30-26-8. I'm really glad I didn't do a video on Arizona this year. They can't blame me. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10, and at home they're 15-11-4. Oh, right, they're already blaming me because I saw them twice live, and they lost both games. Never mind. January 9th, these teams met in Tampa. Tampa won that one 4-0. So Arizona's got to come out tomorrow. They've got to score early, and they've got to take advantage of a Tampa team that might be tired from this road trip. Tampa, I expect McElhinney, because it's Arizona. McElhinney's 8-6-2, 911 save percentage. Give Vasi a bit of a rest. Vasilevsky 32-10-3 with a 919 save percentage. And I expect Ronta because they need wins. He's 13-14-3, but his save percentage is 922. He's been excellent. Hill, 2-4-3 with a 918 save percentage as the backup. Hedman, pretty excellent on the blue line. 9 goals, 42 assists, 51 points. Kucherov, 29 goals, 45 assists, 74 points. He's having a down year. He has 74 points. They've played 61 games, so he's on pace for about 96, 97 points. And at the end of the year, everybody's going to say, wow, Kucherov had a down year. He could get 100, and we could still talk about, I had a down year. It's weird. Ekman Larsson, 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points. He's been the basically anchor for that blue line for a long time. Garland, the 20-goal scorer for them, 20 goals, 15 assists, 35 points. He's hoping he'll have other guys at the 20-goal mark with him and that he'll be beyond it at that point. 3.54 goals per game for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're allowing 2.69. Compare that to Arizona, who are scoring 2.64, so they're lower than Ottawa as well. Higher than Columbus, barely, and San Jose. And they're allowing 2.61. So they're allowing a little bit more than Columbus and less than everybody else on the board, even less than Tampa. They're just not scoring enough goals, which has been the problem for Arizona this year. So we'll see how things go for them, and I need to change boards. It is that annual meeting between Boston and Vancouver in Vancouver, the expensive Saturday night meeting that starts, of course, at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, and there's 2 other games that start near that time. There's one that starts at the same time and one that starts a half an hour later. So I'm not going to this game tomorrow night. I'm okay with that. The Boston Bruins are now 39-11-12, kind of an obnoxious record for them. They're 9-1 in their last 10, and on the road they're 18-9-3. They've stopped losing games in overtime. They've started with comeback victories as well. They're playing very, very well, and they're coming in against a Vancouver team that really isn't. They're 32-22-6. They've fallen out of first place in their division. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10, and at home they're 19-7-4. And so Vancouver's got to get it together. These teams met February 14th in Boston. Boston won that game 4-0. And since then, it has just been a downward spiral for Vancouver for the most part. Tuukka Rask, 23-5-6 with a 932 save percentage. I expect to see him tomorrow because Halak played tonight. Halak's 16-6-6 with a 921 save percentage. I expect Markstrom in this game. He's 22-16-4 with a 918 save percentage. Demko, 10-6-2 with a 905 save percentage would be the backup. Torrey Krug, now with 8 goals, 32 assists, 40 points for Boston on the blue line. That's part of the reason, I believe, why the Backes deal happened. Saves a couple million extra. They're trying to save up enough money to keep Torrey Krug. They don't want to lose him. DeBrusk, 18 goals, 16 assists, 34 points. He's been quiet on this road trip so far. He's due for a noisy game. Chris Tanev on the Vancouver blue line. Surprising to see him with 19 points already. 2 goals, 17 assists. But he hasn't missed a game so far this year, so this is, I guess, what happens when Tanev's healthy. Pedersen, or Pettersson. There, see, I did it. Pettersson, 24 goals, 34 assists, 58 points in 59 games. Pettersson's been excellent this year. I do sometimes think he gets overhyped by the Vancouver media and their fans, and that's normal. You're going to see overhype when it comes to a star player in a Canadian city, which means that they get overly criticized too when they're not producing. Goals for and against. Boston's scoring 3.31 and allowing 2.31. So that's insane. They're scoring exactly 1 goal more per game than they're allowing. On the Vancouver side, they're scoring 3.18, which is close to Boston, but they're allowing 3.02. They're allowing too many goals against, and there's been some sloppy nights along the way, which is why Markstrom and Demko's save percentages aren't as high as they should be. The defense has been shaky at times. All right, next up, Florida. So the Florida Panthers in against the Vegas Golden Knights. This one again starts at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. Florida 32-23-6 overall. In their last 10, a woeful 3-6-1, and they're coming off of a regulation loss in Los Angeles. They're 16-11-4 on the road, and now they get to play Vegas, who are really starting to round into form. Vegas is 32-22-8. In their last 10, they're 7-2-1. This is all bad news for Florida. They're 18-10-4 at home, so they're going to be watching what Toronto does. Florida will. And if Toronto wins and Florida loses, that would put them 4 points back. So they have to be careful because this can get away from them. Like the first meeting between these teams did, February 6th in Florida, when Vegas won that one 7-2. That was an embarrassing game for Florida. They will be looking to even that up a little bit. Playing in Vegas. Good luck to them on that. I expect Bobrovsky, he's 22-18-5 with an 898 save percentage. His numbers just haven't been good enough overall. Montembeault's 5-3-1 with an 890 save percentage. I would expect Fleury for Vegas because, of course, 24-14-5 with a 906 save percentage. Subban, 8-7-3 with an 893 save percentage. Now, the notables, Yandel, 5 goals, 37 assists, 42 points. His Iron Man streak continues. Barkov, 20 goals, 40 assists, 60 points. That's some symmetry right there. Goals for, they're scoring 3.46 for Florida. They're allowing 3.34. That goals against was supposed to come down. They hired Joel Quenneville. They kind of remade the blue line. They brought in their new starting goaltender. Everything's supposed to be great. And their goals against is still too high. And it's a big part of the reason why they're struggling to make the playoffs. On the Vegas side of things, Martinez, 2 goals and 8 assists after his goal and an assist in his first appearance with Vegas. Pacioretty, 28 goals, 30 assists, 58 points. He is their leading scorer, and he's having an excellent season. 30-plus goals, absolutely a certainty at this stage. 3.13 goals per game. They're allowing 3 exactly. They do want to bring that goals against down, especially as you get closer to the playoffs. But overall, things are going pretty well, so you can't complain too much if you're a Vegas fan. But for Florida, oh, be careful, Florida. Be very, very careful, because this can spiral quickly. It is Florida. Last game of the night, Colorado in against LA. This one starts at, of course, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Colorado now 35-18-7. So remember, like a week and a half ago, when everybody's talking about Colorado's, they're not very good. Was it a week ago we were all talking about they weren't very good? And I said, it's just a couple of games, don't overreact. Turns out, yeah, they're still pretty good. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. On the road, they're 19-9-2. So yeah, they had a rough start against the Kings. Now they get a chance to have some revenge indoors. Now they're not outdoors. Now they're indoors. 22-34-5 is the record for the Kings. Their last 10, they're 4-6, and at home they're 13-12-1. And like I said, the last meeting these teams had was outdoors. That was the stadium game, which LA won 3-1 on February 15th. So a week later, they're meeting in LA. March 9th, they will meet in LA again. So Colorado has 2 games left against the Kings. 2 chances at some revenge for how that outdoor game turned out. Francouz at 15-5-3 and a .926 save percentage. That's not bad. Miska's there. I think he backs up. I don't think they put him in here. Still no word on Grubauer, but I think they just play Francouz back-to-back. He got a shutout tonight, but it wasn't like he faced a ton of shots, so I don't think he's going to be so exhausted he can't go in back-to-backs. I would expect Quick in this as well. They seem to be going with him a lot. He's 13-22-3 with an .897 save percentage. Peterson's 1-2 with an .896 save percentage. Cale Makar is becoming a story again for Colorado. 12 goals, 33 assists, 45 points. Very nearly had a goal tonight. McKinnon, 33 goals, 51 assists, 84 points. He's just fantastic. Goals for, they're scoring 3.5. Goals against, 2.73. Those are gaudy numbers, almost Boston level. And so overall, yeah, Colorado's in pretty good shape. On the LA side of things, Doughty, 7 goals, 23 assists. He's got to 30 points. Kopitar, 17 goals, 38 assists, 55 points. Miserable season for LA, not for him. Goals for, 2.51 per game. That's nowhere near enough. And they're allowing 3.2 a game, and that's too many. So for the Kings, they're rounding out what has been a pretty rough season for them. They are likely to be the first team in the West officially eliminated from the playoff picture, but they have a chance to kind of ruin the party for the Colorado Avalanche twice in 8 days. And I haven't heard whether or not they're going to wear their stadium jerseys for the rematch. I highly doubt it, but yeah, this should be a fun one to end out the night. So let me know your winners, all that stuff in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this old video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys make this work. Without you guys, I'm not here. And hey, I appreciate it. I will talk to you again in the morning.